What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning to another episode of Right on Cue Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Logan Chestnut, Small Batch Barbecue. Joining me tonight is my barbecue brother, Mr. AJ Johnson from the New Island Barbecue team. Man, I miss you, AJ, buddy. I haven't got my dose of chocolate here this year, and I got a sweet tooth.
Not heard that, man. Yeah, man, you've been missing in action, man. We've been missing you out there on the barbecue trail.
I feel weird, man. I feel like my friends have abandoned me, and I'm all by myself. And
Yeah,
no, I seriously, it feels weird because last year, I mean, I did pretty much comp for comp with you the whole year, and then this year I pumped it way back. I did 4 or 5, and it's been a little slow this year.
Oh yeah,
but I'm hoping to kick it back off next year. I got the Royal left in me. I'm gonna help my buddy Cotton with the Royal, and then that's gonna be all, folks, for this year. But how many more you got going on?
I got Clanton this weekend, then Scottsboro, and I'm gonna end it with Garrett contest at the end of October. Last point chase last week in October.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say point chase? I thought you weren't chasing this year, AJ. Oh, I'm not chasing. I'm not chasing point. No, that's just something you tell your wife. Don't admit it. She don't watch the show.
The contest is called last point chase. I didn't say I was chasing points.
No, AJ, it's your last point chase. No. It's fine. I ain't chasing points this year. Whatever.
I'm not.
Okay. Where you know where you're at though, don't you?
Nope. Haven't even looked.
Shut up.
Haven't even looked.
You need to be watching our boy Pat. Pat's in there coming in hot. He's sneaky.
Yeah.
He's like the silent assassin.
Oh yeah, I've been trying to get Pat to come on the show, but man, you know how he is. He just shy.
He just don't like me. I think that's what it is. He just don't like me.
Probably. Sounds more like it.
Nobody likes me. I'm an acquired taste. No, man, but I've been missing you guys. It's funny. I've literally been just thinking about barbecue here lately. Here last week was it Glencoe was going on, messing with one of my favorite comps. I got my first GC there, and I was thinking about you guys, but was it miserably hot? Or was it? It's always like it
was so hot. It's like
Satan's taint. They need to rename it to Satan's taint in Glencoe.
Yeah, it's always hot in Glencoe, no matter what. You know, they moved it to September from August, and it's still hot. Every time I move it to October, it's still gonna be hot. It's no matter what they gonna do. It's gonna be hot in Glencoe.
It's so bad. Like that year, 1 year, man. I literally, like you too, Derek. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Been talking about you earlier today. But no, like I went there that 1 year, and it's freaking. I drank 24 bottles of water, and I know that because it was a fresh case, right. And I peed once. Tell me do the math on that. I don't understand the evaporation. Or what happened? I mean, I know fat meat sweats, but still, that's a lot of water.
That's a lot of water.
I feel like at a barbecue comp, like after I sweat through the 4th shirt, I'm like, nope, that's it. That's my limit. If I sweat through 4 shirts, forget it. I ain't doing it no more. Daddy's done.
That's right.
No, man, I missed you guys. I feel like my little barbecue fam. I need to go back to the reunion. But no, man. So I'm excited. Barbecue season is wrapping up. We got Brad Leininger's out there laying the pipe on everybody. I mean, this dude he's just killing it, man. I mean, have we seen a season like this before? I've never seen a season like this.
Yeah, it's been killing it, man. Just definitely one for the books.
I mean, dude, everywhere he was auto jacked before everybody started this year. What he was like auto jack in June,
December or something like that, or I'm just joking, but it's kind of.
No, I mean, probably. I mean, no joke. Like March, May. I think it was Smoke on a Shore. He had already autoed. Yeah. And I'm like Smoke on a Shore is when a lot of people would get going.
Right. I mean, that's the first one.
That's my kickoff. I mean, that's my kickoff every year. And I'm like, damn, I can just sit back and relax at that point.
Just chill out.
I know, man. But dude, speaking of hot, like our guest tonight knows about hot. I mean, this guy is hot on the trail, and he lives in the southern states where it gets moderately warm out here.
Toasty.
Toasty. And he likes to cook on Texas boys, and they say they know about heat, but I mean, they have dry heat though. There's no humidity down there. Because you talk to the Texas guys down there about humidity, and they're like, well, that takes rain. We don't have any of that wet stuff.
Right. You come to Alabama, you wake up in the morning, 7:00, you got to cut your way out the door because it's so thick.
Dude, I'll walk out with Head and Shoulders on my head already, so I can go and get my shower in while I'm at the comp.
Right.
But no, man, the guy tonight, I'm so excited. I've been wanting to have him on for a while. I'm a big fan of his and what he does for the barbecue community. Honestly, I mean, for what he does for like classes and education is second to none. And he has some of the best content out there. And he's got a great show, great podcast and Facebook show of himself. So, like I said, it is an honor and a privilege to have this man on tonight. So, without further ado, let's bring on our guest, Mr. Mike Steele from Barbecue Champs Academy. What's up, buddy?
Not too much, Logan. AJ, appreciate you guys having me on, man.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. We're slumming with us little boys down here from the South, man. We appreciate it, man. We know you're a big dog doing big things, and we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with us, man.
Heck yeah, man. It's all about barbecue love, brother. The more we can spread it, the better it is.
That's right. Hold on, I got to fix this. You're too pretty to be on the small screen. We got to get
come on now.
We got to get the big screen, man. You used to be on the big screen, man.
I
see your face once a week when I watch your videos.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, but Mike, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I truly appreciate it. Like I said, people know you from on the competition trail, on the racing trail, and then on the Barbecue Champs Academy, which is by far second to none, one of the best educational value bang for your buck you can get online. So truly appreciate you coming on and joining us. So like we start off with you have a show, so you understand how it goes.
Oh yeah.
So first question I'm going to ask you is, it's very original, very unique to our pod. Tell the people who you are and where you're what you're about.
Okay, I'm Mike Steele from Shreveport, Louisiana. I've been a competition cook now since 2013. So I kind of got started in the competition scene after I gave up drag racing. And I don't know if I said I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. So
you did, yeah.
Anyway, and yeah, so I have a lot of fun. I kind of got into barbecue after I hung up the helmet of a very, very long career in drag racing. I did a lot of pro street racing back in the day with Pat Musey, Mike Moran, Tony Christian, all these guys that we were the OGs of the original street outlaw stuff. And set 2 world records. I developed my own nitrous nozzle. I licensed it to Edelbrock in 2001. And, man, we had a lot of fun touring across the country. Beach Bend there in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I heard you talking about that.
Yeah.
Been there a bunch of times. I mean, all up and down the East Coast.
Great track.
Yeah. Just a lot of good times. And, it was really fun. It was very competitive. But the great thing about that is run what you brung and hope you brought enough. It was truly who had the most horsepower could get down the track. And obviously had to cut a good light, man. I was noted for the lights, man. I would absolutely nail your butt to the tree. So I got in those guys' heads quite a bit. And so had a very, very long career in that. And started in 1992. I used to do a lot of street racing, and then they kind of started these fastest street cars. And it kind of pulled all of us off the streets where we could go to a track and do it, legally and safer and making some money along the way. And man, I did it all the way up to about 2008. And then it just got to where I just didn't have the time to get out and do it. So in 2012, we finally sold the car. And then my wife was like, okay, you're driving me nuts sitting around the house all the time. This competitive fire that's in you, that's been in your life the whole time, you're going to have to find something to do. And we was watching Barbecue Pitmasters on TV quite a bit. And I was like, well, she said, you like to barbecue. I said, I barbecue every once in a while. She said, okay, you barbecue every once in a while. You love doing it. So she said, why don't we go to a barbecue competition or get into barbecue competitions? So I was like, okay, let's go. She said, well, find you a smoker. So I always wanted a rotisserie smoker. found one that was on Craigslist, called the guy, and he said, man, I just sold it. What are you wanting to do? And I was like, man, I really want to get into competition barbecue. And he said, I cook an IBCA. Now, this was in 2012, and he said, or maybe that was 2011. It was 2011, 2000. I think it was 2011. And he said, I cook in the IBCA circuit. He said, where are you at? And I said, I'm in Shreveport. He said, well, I'm in Dallas. He said, write my number down. Are you going to be in? Can you come to Dallas sometime in the middle of September? I said, yeah, I sure can. He said, I want you to come over here, hang out with us. I'll introduce you to everybody. You can see what it's like. I said, okay. So I kept his number. About a week before I called him. He said, look, my new smoker didn't get ready. I want you to go over there, go talk to Susan. She's the head, she's the promoter. And her husband passed away from colon cancer. And they do a big event every year to raise money for colon awareness. And, tell her you want to judge, because they pull people right off the street. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. She said, right off the street, man. So went over there, introduced myself. She, told her we was wanting to cook. And she said, absolutely. So she put me on a final table ribs and brisket, and I think just a regular table on chicken. My wife, the same. And I don't know, we got a chance to walk around that whole day, visiting people, seeing some of the same guys that I still cook with today. And, just seeing what it was about, because I thought it was really neat. It did really seem like this barbecue family. Everybody was kind of all super nice and very cooperative and answering questions and stuff. And we did some judging, and, we came back, and, my wife said, well, I said, what did you think? She said, well, I think you'll do fine. Knowing you'll figure things out. That's just you. And she said, I think you just need to go ahead and order a custom smoker if that's what you want, and get what you're actually wanting. So that was September. October the 1st, I ordered my new cooker, had it custom built. It was a Cadillac cooker, had a lot of little things that I wanted done to it that he normally didn't do, but he said, you tell me what you want, I'll build it. So it was an 8-foot pit, 36-inch barrel. We put a plate in the middle of it. And the firebox, we put a plate in the middle of the firebox, and it had 2 dampers. So I could run one side of the pit at one temp. I could run the other side at another temp. So it was a kind of a cool setup the way that he did it. And he said he had done one like that before. And then I had to put a little insulation around the firebox, and got it ordered in October. It took him 9 months to build it. I picked it up the week before the 4th of July the following year. And, man, I had never cooked brisket, it's like, okay, we got some brisket to cook, and man, I didn't know. I ordered 4 Creekstone Farm prime briskets, and man, threw them on there, and I had no idea where to pull them. I don't even know if I went to YouTube. People say, I take them to 195, 200 degrees. I took it to like 200 degrees, cut it. That thing was like shoe leather, tough, dry. I was like, man, these things suck. Throw these things away because they ain't no good. I'm thinking, well, I could tell that they weren't overcooked, because I said, there's no way they got overcooked. So I was like, well, let me try another 4. So I did 4 more briskets, and it's a rotisserie, so I got 4 racks in this thing, so I could do 4 at a time pretty easy. So I did 4 more, all different flavor profiles, and these were a lot better. I took them to like 205, 206. They were much better, way more tender, still weren't where they needed to be, but man, this flavor profile sucks. This one I don't really like. This one's really good. I had 2 of them that were really, really, I thought was pretty good. So I was like, well, 5 degrees more help. Let's add another 5 to it. So this next go around, I took them to like 210, and, I'm kind of probing them a little bit, but not really knowing nothing about probe tender, just figured, okay, we got a pretty good brisket here. And man, this last batch that I did, I was like, man, this one brisket is just a really, really good brisket. So I told my wife, I said, look, I got a good brisket. My ribs, man, they ain't gonna touch my rib. I got some killer ribs. I've always had killer ribs. Chicken, man, I have no idea what these people are gonna want. It's a freaking chicken. So I was like, well, look, that same competition we went to is coming up. That was in July, August. I was probably about halfway through August by the time I've got through all this. I said, let's just go to that competition. We already know where it's at. We know the layout. Let's just go make that our first one, because that was the first one we ever went to just to go see what it was about. So it was a Steve Mayberry competition, and right there in the heart of Dallas. There was 49 teams, and it was so cool because there was so many people that came up to me, and they was like, man, you was walking around here last year asking people about stuff to come cook, wasn't you? And I said, man, how you remember that? Well, you're kind of not a hard guy to miss, you know. And I was like, well, yeah, and this is our first one. This is the first competition we ever done, or we're going to ever do. And they was like, are you serious? I said, I just got my smoker. It's brand new. You know, we're ready to do this. And oh, Uncle Tony Chandler, he came up and he was like, man, let me just tell you, make the turn-ins, have fun. Most important thing is get the food in the box and make the turn-ins. Mm-hmm. So we did, you know, and I had my recipes down. I had everything. I'm very, very organized, very detailed, and I knew I could replicate what I was doing. So got all the meats turned in, brisket, ribs, chicken, turned it in, started with chicken, didn't even have a final table. It's like, okay, that's fine. We're coming to ribs now, baby. This is where I think I'm going to get on. It was 49 teams. It was a Texas State Championship, and there were some badass teams there. Ronnie Wade has won like 200 grand champions. I mean, he is in the IBCA Hall of Fame. He is a freaking legend. Him, along with several others, was there. And so we're doing ribs. They call top 10. You know, my wife holding the tickets. I'm sorry, baby. So they call final table. Well, I had 11th place rib. And she said, baby, you had 11th place rib out of 49 teams. That's not bad, you know. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. I'll take that. So then they start calling brisket, you know, like, okay, this is great. So they get down to like 5th place, and she's like, baby, look, we had fun. That's all that counts. Don't worry. You know, you can't win them all. And I was like, no, it's fine. You know, we'll figure this out. And they get to 3rd place. She's still trying to encourage me. It's good. They call 2nd, blah, blah, blah. And then they call 1st place brisket. 7, 8, 9, 4, 8, 2. And she looks at me. She said, baby, you just won 1st place brisket. And I was like, heck yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So needless to say, won $712.50. Got a 1st place brisket at my first competition, 49 teams at a Texas State Championship, and finished 3rd overall. Needless to say, I was freaking hooked. And so that was the only comp I did that year. And then 2013 was kind of my first full year to do it. I did 10 comps that year. I think I had 6 or 7 top 10 finishes in brisket. Brisket was my strong point right off the get-go. Finally, after about 6 or 7 competitions in, I started figuring out ribs. I started getting my ribs kind of showing across the finish line a little. And chicken, I had to get it off the rotisserie. Everybody kept saying, "Get it off that rotisserie, dude. You got to grill it. You know, you're not gonna do good with the rotisserie chicken." So, started grilling the chicken. Started getting better. I think in 2013 was my first full year. 14, I think it was 15. I got my first grand champion after about my 19th competition, I think. And I really kind of started putting things a little bit together. Brisket was doing good. I finally started getting ribs kind of figured out a little bit. Don't overdo it. Don't overthink it. And, man, I don't know. It kind of kept going. We had a really good 16, 17. I picked up a couple more grand champions. 2018 really started. This is probably about my 45th cook-off by that point. And, man, at the end of the 18, I had brisket was just my strongest category by far. It was leading the way. And at the end of 2018, I just got my brand new trailer, my 5th wheel. And, man, it was so nice. I had got rid of that original cooker using the one. We used that original cooker for the first year. I wasn't about to drag it behind a motorhome no more and dragging that thing up beside, cooking in ankle-deep muck. At 2 competitions, I said, if I have to do this, I'm done. So I sold it and had him build me a new custom one. I did not like the design on the firebox he had. He said, draw what you want, and I'll build what you want. And that's what I've got right now. And that's awesome. Anyway, so showed up in 2018 with my new trailer, kind of to closing out that year. I had a 1st place brisket grand champion, 1st place brisket grand champion, 2nd place brisket grand champion. Next to last competition year, another 1st place brisket grand champion and another 1st place brisket and grand champion. So I closed out 2018 with 4 first, 1 second brisket, and a grand, a reserve, and a grand. And I was really like kind of got everything kind of honed in. And I had a candle manufacturing company where I actually manufactured candles and stuff as well. And I was ready to get out of that business to do something for barbecue because I really started to enjoy it. So I sold the candle business at the beginning of 2018, which really allowed me to start concentrating more on my barbecue. And I've got a pool company. I've been in the pool business for 38 years. So I maintain, service, and, do repairs and clean pools and stuff. And 2019, the people that bought my candle business, I got them out of here. And I was like, okay, I want to do something with barbecue. And I really thought I wanted to do something like Big Papa Smoker. I was like, man, I want this massive warehouse. I want rubs. I want this. I started pricing. I was like, man, there ain't no margin in this crap. What are you doing? I got out of the candle business of having a manufacturer and box and ship candles. I wanted out of that. And what am I doing? I'm trying to do something.
Manufacturer box and ship.
Boxing up. I was like, what am I thinking? So I just kept thinking, like, what could I do? What could I do? What would be something that I really wanted to help the barbecue community, because the guys that I grew up idolizing when I first started, I could see a lot of the older guys, they weren't doing as good. Some of them were quitting and stuff like that. You got a lot of the new guys like me coming on and a lot of others. And I didn't want to see it dying. And I really wanted to grow the sport of barbecue. So I was like, what could I do? And, I had thought about videos, but didn't really know the best way to go about doing that. And then Joey Smith had just won the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. And I had never talked to Joey, but we were friends on Facebook. And I just reached out to him. I said, dude, you need to call me. And he called me up and I said, look, I got this concept. I want to do online tell-all barbecue cooking classes, and I want it all done by world champion pitmasters. You're a world champion pitmaster. I said, you just want it. What are you going to do? He said, man, I don't know, but I want to do something with it. I said, well, let me tell you something. I set 2 world records drag racing. And I said, when I set the record the second time, it was after I made my own nitrous nozzle. And I set on that nitrous nozzle because I wasn't selling that to anybody. The car picked up 3/10 and 8 miles an hour when I first went to the first race. That was the first hit down the track with this thing. And we had the field covered by 3/10. It only kept getting faster as I leaned on it some more because it was so rich. I was like, man, I got the field covered by 0.3 of a second. Ran off and left everybody. Everybody was wanting to buy the nozzle. I was like, nope, ain't selling it. Well, 4 years later, I get the phone call from Edelbrock, and they're like, look, we know you got the fastest nitrous car. I know you got a nozzle. Do you want to sell it? I said, nope, I ain't going to sell it, but I'll license it to you.
There you go, Mr. Wonderful.
I capitalized on that success that I had in drag racing. And man, I made a lot of money with that. I mean, they paid me a 6-digit figure for the license for that nozzle and 5% royalty. So I told Joey, I said, look, you need to capitalize. You need to do it now. You can't wait, 6 months, a year from now, you'll be irrelevant. You got to do it when the iron's hot. So he was like, man, what do you got in mind? And I kind of told him about Barbecue Champs Academy, what I thought. And he was like, man, I'm all in. I was like, perfect. So I had made another phone call to Robbie Royal. Never had met Robbie in person, but I had talked to him one time, and I called him and I told him what I was wanting to do. And Robbie was like, man, that ain't ever been done before. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And if you want to be part of it, you better get in because I'm going to do it. And Joey was like, Robbie, you better get in. This guy, every damn thing he touches turns to freaking gold. You better get in because he's a good business guy. So I had Robbie on the back burner. I had Joey. And then I wanted to get a couple steak cookers. So I called Shauna Rapola, who lives 15 minutes from me. And then I have another guy, a good friend of mine, Alan Newton, up in Arkansas. He lives like 2 hours from me. And I said, okay, I got 2 steak cookers. I got 2 barbecue cookers. I've got enough that I can start creating the content. Now, this started in March the 15th. So I got all the content, Joey's videos done, Robbie Royal's videos done, the 2 steak cookers, Alan and Shauna. And when I was sitting there talking to Joey, Joey's talking to Corey Mikes at the Cedar Park competition. He's like, do you know Mike Steele? He said, yeah, I see him on Facebook. He said, you need to talk to him. He's fixing to do something, fixing to revolutionize this barbecue industry. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I can't tell you. I'm under a non-disclosure agreement. You just need to call the guy. Well, tell me what it is. He said, I can't tell you. You need to call the guy. So I get a phone call from Corey Mikes, and I make him sign an NDA. And I was like, here's what we're doing. He was like, oh, heck yeah, sign me up for this. This is going to be great. So we got Corey in here and got his classes done. So June the 28th, 2019, we launched Barbecue Champs Academy. It was the weekend before the 4th of July. and we did it with Robbie, Corey, and the two steak cookers. We was having one of the things had got messed up on the editing on Joey's. I told Joey, I said, we'll release it like in another week, but I wanted to get this out before the 4th of July. Man, I made the video, got all that stuff done, and man, we launched it that night. And I mean, it went freaking viral across Facebook. I mean, we sold probably 6 or 7 classes that night, which I had no idea what this thing was going to do. Mm-hmm. And man, it just kind of took off from there. And I remember when Joey came in, he was right here at this table, and he was like, you know, I had this film crew. I hired a professional film crew here in town, and I pitched the idea to them, what we were going to do. They've worked with some movie stars. They've worked with Jennifer Gardner and all that. So it is a very, very good film crew that we've got. Told them what I wanted to do, what I was trying to capture. So we had an overhead camera. We have a camera we're talking to. We have a camera right here at the end of the table. And, you know, he said, we'll shoot this first one for you just to kind of see how it goes, you know, see what you think. And I was like, that's fine with me. And we get up here, and Joey's looking at me, and he's like, what's the script? And the guys even asked me, do you have a script? Do you have an outline? How are you going to do all this? What's the format? What's the flow? And I was like, man, I don't know. I just roll with it, baby. We'll just go. And Joey's like, what are we going to do? I said, just follow my lead, man. I'll wing it on the fly, man. That's what I do. And he was like, I said, just trust me. Just follow my lead. I'm going to ask you questions. I want you to answer my questions. And if you don't answer my question, I'll rephrase it. That means I'm trying to get more information out of your butt, because I'm going to get everything from you I possibly can. So, man, we start. Boom, here we go. Hey, everybody, Mike Steele here, Barbecue Champs Academy. Man, we got this guy here, Joey Smith, in the house, just won the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Boom, and we started it from there. And we got through that whole thing, and, you know, I'm asking my film crew, hey, guys, you know, how is this looking? You know, we're probably 3 hours into filming, and, man, John lit me, and he said, dude, I'm over here on this camera, and he said, I'm telling you, it's like we're watching the dang Food Network. He said, the quality of the content's amazing. Everything's looking good. And I was like, okay, you know, that's great. You know, that's all I cared about. And so we get done. The first day of filming was about 7 or 8 hours. And so I walk up to my film crew. We were kind of wrapping up everything. Joey's putting his stuff up. We got all the prep done. And I walked over to my film crew, and I said, okay, guys, I said, just give me your honest opinion. What do you think? How did this go? And they said, well, he said, I'll tell you this. We've been over here talking for 20 minutes, and we thought this was either going to be one of two things. This was going to be the biggest freaking flop that we've ever filmed before, thinking that this cat's going to roll over here, don't have a script, producer, nothing. And we're thinking, like, this is going to be probably the biggest flop we've ever done. And when you freaking opened your mouth and freaking started ripping stuff and never cut, never edited, never did nothing, just freaking raw footage rolled that was so put together, he was like, I'm just going to tell you right now, dude, you got it. You got what it takes. And I think this is going to be incredibly successful because it is very entertaining on top of very educational. And I was like, y'all are jacking with me, right? And I was like, dude, dead serious. So that was kind of the start of it, you know, and we just continue to bring more people in and bring more people in. And, you know, that was the start of Barbecue Champs Academy. Website's bbqchamps.com. We've got, 12, 13 barbecue pit masters. They're all world champions. And we've got a whole host of steak grill masters. I mean, Terry Roan, world champion. Marissa Overson, world champion, points champion, Matt Overson. I mean, a lot of state championship guys. I mean, it was just truly a blessing. And then starting to see the feedback and the people that would go take these classes and just immediately crushing it. And, you know, I had one guy, he had 2 walks in 4 years of cooking, and he took the class. First competition he goes to, he has a 2nd place and a 5th place, paid for the class. First competition he goes to, $5.99, bought Corey Mike's All Access class. First class he goes to, he made $600. He said, I'm already up $1. He goes to his next competition. He walks in 3 comps, three deal. He made like another, I think he made $800. He goes to his next competition, has like a first, a third, and a second. got his first grand champion. He picked up another $1,200. He's like, man, I don't know. I think the total was like $2,600 in his first 4 competitions he went to. And he was like, dude, these classes are amazing. And that's kind of how it got started. So,
yeah. Well, dude, I like I said before, and I've said on this mini podcast before you, I'm a huge fan of what you do and of the Barbecue Champs Academy. So let me ask you a question. So before, like when you got into this barbecue thing, like I said, it's funny you're a car guy before this, because the car crew and the barbecue crew, they're similar people. You know, they all are competitive and they're not athletic enough to do, right. they're not, we're all former, have competition or competitive people in general. And
right.
they'll tell, and that they're a welcoming group, and they'll tell you 80% of the truth.
Right.
And like I said, it's being, around this area, there's a ton of car people, and it's similar. Like I went to, what's a rat rod? It's a rat rod big convention. Not good guys. It's something like that. Yeah, I forgot what it was, but it's just a bunch of old cars and people walking around. Like, these are the same people that could barbecue, and it's similar things. But so the idea of classes for you, had you taken a class prior to thinking about Barbecue Champs Academy, or are you just like thinking one day like, oh, this is not a bad idea?
No, I had never taken a class, and I like I said, I learned all my stuff when I started in 2013 all the way up to 2018. From my background in drag racing, it's all about keeping notes, and I share this with people all the time, but every competition that I've ever done, and I've cooked 169 competitions, and every competition I cook, I keep, like, I can tell you every single thing that went on at that competition. I mean, everything. There's nothing that goes. I can tell you what my rubs were, what my injections were, my sauces, the timeline, every single aspect there is. So I can go back and I can duplicate that every single time. And that is one of the things that I think that has really made me try to be a pretty consistent cook. Right. People will say, Mike's a consistent cook. If he shows up, I'm not going to win all of them, but I'm usually going to at least let you know I'm there. And then in competition barbecue, that's all you can do. Right. So I just continue to keep all my background in drag racing. I brought that with me to the barbecue stuff. Right. So it was incredibly detailed notes. And every time, if I found something that didn't work, or if I found something that did work, I did that. And I just continue to do it. And just like, I built my own engines. I could have spent $60,000 and bought a Pat Musey engine, but then you have what everybody else has. And you can't outrun them you're only going to be as fast as the horsepower that he can build. So the way you got to outrun them is you got to build your own horsepower. And that's what I was incredibly good at. I was very blessed that in that part of it, building engines, doing tricked out things that you have never in your life heard for. I was the guy that was way out there in left field, moving cylinder heads over on the block. I'll reveal some of that stuff now, but I would offset the cylinder head on the block. 50 thousandths. Well, what is that 50 thousand? Well, I ported my own cylinder heads. I was a cylinder head porter and engine builder. And the cylinder heads is the biggest part, because the more an engine's an air pump, the more air you pump in it, more horsepower you're going to make. So I had just a big $10,000 flow bench, and I was flowing the cylinder heads one day, and I was playing around on the bench, and I bumped the head over 50 thousandths. Man, the manometer dropped, cranked it up, put like 20 more CFM of air through the cylinder head, and I was like, man, I'm sitting over here fighting for hours, just grinding and epoxying and trying to twist and move air in the port. As a cylinder head designer, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to really get this thing to flow more air. The more air that you put through it, more horsepower you're going to make. I bumped the thing over, it picked up 20 CFM. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like 90 horsepower. So I go over there and I was like, okay, I'm going to slide the head over on the block. So I got offset dowels. I epoxied up one side of the intake because it shifted over. I opened up the other side. I got it all done. I put it back together. We go to the track. Car picks up a tenth in 3 miles an hour. Well, it may not sound like a lot, but man, when you're making 1,800 horsepower, Man, that took 120 horsepower to pick up a 10th in 3 miles an hour. So
Yeah.
it was the little things like that I would do. I mean, I directed water from the water pump to the back of the block. So instead of all the cold water going down one side and the hot water coming out around the other side, I wanted even cooling around all cylinders. So I came off the block, off the water pump, and I put water distribution lines down the side of the block to keep the water temperature consistent from one end of the block to the other. A lot of things, man, that none of these guys were doing. You know, putting screens in them, putting scrapers in them. We're scraping all the oil off the crankshaft. Man, oil gets like taffy on that crankshaft. So I built a scraper system that would scrape all the oil off the crankshaft and the rods. I mean, it took me, I don't know, 8 hours to fit this piece of sheet metal in there between the pan rail and the oil pan. And so it's a lot of things like that. So I brought that kind of stuff over to the barbecue stuff. And I just felt like, you know, I wanted to kind of learn it on my own. And I've always just kind of been that way. And man, I don't know I didn't even know about a lot of classes and stuff back then, right? So, but I knew that there was people that was doing classes, but the average person, I just kind of felt like, man, a lot of people may have too much pride to go to a class, or they don't want to do it, or if they go, they may not be able to retain everything that they learn. And, you know, let's face it, I mean, you're only going to probably retain 50% of what you learn in a class. Because you got to take incredible notes. You're not going to see everything, you know, and if you don't get it exactly right, it does not matter what you do if you don't get all of it, because you'll never get the flavor profile.
Right.
So that's kind of when I was like, and when I came off that banner year in 2018, at that point, I really wanted to help people in the barbecue community. I wanted to help grow the sport, because now I love this sport. And I wanted to see it grow and not die, because I could kind of see people dropping out. And that was the whole purpose. Like, you know, I want to get some serious world champions. I want to break it down. I tell the guys, we're not going to cut. We ain't going to edit. Whatever I ask you a question, you're going to answer it, because there ain't no cutting. And you've watched the videos. We don't cut this stuff, because I don't want people to think, oh, well, he cut that out and he hid something. No, man, we're going to roll with what it is, so you're going to get it. And I'll ask the questions that you're wanting to answer or have an answer to. Like, if you was here, what would you want to ask him? And that's the question I'm constantly asking these. I come across as a dumb butt that I don't know nothing. Like, why are you doing this? And what's the purpose of this? Well, but I do that, so I'm asking the questions that you would want to ask.
Right.
So that's when we do it.
Makes
Are
sense.
are you thinking about that? So like, I'm glad you brought that up, because like, you know, before what you did, and then there's, you know, other you know, barbecue league and stuff like that that are out there. But before that, I mean, it was pretty much, you know, Malcolm Reed, How to Barbecue right on YouTube, and a lot of YouTube guys are out there posting videos and how-tos and stuff. But I mean, if you talk to those guys, and I have, you know, some off screens, like, I mean, honestly, they're going to give you 70%. They're not going to tell you the 100% truth, or they'll give you like previous stuff. And but when you saw that need, like, and they're not high quality videos, like you said. I mean, you got the high quality camera footage and the angles, and it's such a fantastic asset to your barbecue repertoire. And you're part of the reason why scores, I feel like, have gone, because I mean, AJ, I mean, back me up. Like, when you first started, you started around the same time I did, right? 2018, 2019.
Right.
And I mean, if you got, you know, a 172, you know, you were top 10.
I mean, easy. Top 10 for sure.
I mean, 172, I mean, you were cooking. I mean, you were cooking with gas at that point. I mean, 180s was damn near unheard of a lot of places. It was like every once in a while you hear about one, but it's like the competition that comes in. And it was the same guys that did it every single contest. So when you roll to a contest, it's like, well, shit, they're here. You know, it's like you go into a drag strip and Kai Kelly's there. And you're like, well, crap.
Right.
You know, and you know, like, it's going to be hard to beat them today. But with the mass influx of not only people doing classes, because people used to be all hush hush, like, oh, I ain't telling you my secret recipe, blah blah blah. But now they're like, well, I'll capitalize on it, and you know, I'll share my recipe with you, and you know, you come in here and get the high influx of education that people can do, because not everybody can go to a class, because it's not just it's not just the price of admission. Because I've been to a lot of classes. I actually took AJ to his first class here recently, And you know, it's not just the price of admission. It's also you got to get hotel rooms a
Travel,
lot of
hotel,
times.
yeah.
There's food. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, probably whatever the class costs, double it, and that's what you're going to spend. I mean, probably on average. But and there's value in in-person classes for sure, because I mean, you get the, you know, you get to like feel the meat, taste the meat, and kind of, and that's an important aspect of the learning process. I think we'll all agree, like actually feeling it, the probe. It's not something you can teach or watch. It's something you have to feel. But then like you said, the rest of it is like I've been to I don't know how many classes, and like I retain, like you said, probably 50% of and even though they provide you with notes and you take notes on the side, it's still not exactly that. Versus like I've bought a class off your website. And I'm literally going back, and I bet I've watched the same video 200 times.
Yeah.
And if I forget something, if I'm going to a comp, I'm like, crap, how do I need to do this? And I'm like, let me get a refresher note real quick. And, you know, I'll go back and watch some of the video, and it's invaluable. You know, it's because when it comes to barbecue, once you get to a certain level, it's not the recipes. It's not
techniques.
It's all the techniques. It's a stupid, like you're talking about racing. It's a stupid stuff that anybody in the normal world would be like, that sounds just idiotic, you know? Right. Like why do you care so much about this? And why do you care like 206 versus 212? Like that's payday.
That's
you know, that's it. Like you said,
that'll get you paid.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, like when you first did it, you took a brisket at 200, and a lot of people in the backyard briskets, they're like, "Oh, that's great," but you know, with higher grade briskets, you need to push them bad boys. And we're cooking high grade briskets, and I'm like, it's 5 degrees, it's 10 degrees. That takes your $200 brisket into dog meat or getting paid on a Saturday. So it's like I absolutely love what you do and how you break it down, because I thought about that. Like, are you, like you said, you try to be the layman of when you ask questions, and you know these things and we know these things, and probably majority of people that are paying this money to do this knows these things, but just like, do you sit around and like write down questions, or do you ask like friends like, hey, what is the question you would ask for barbecue? You're just kind of off the cuff.
I just do it all off the cuff. The thing is, I know what the average person is. That I look at it like this. I want to ask the question to somebody that knows nothing. Because there's some questions I'm going to ask. You already know what it is, and they do. Yeah. But you have the person that's taken we probably get every month. I would say we have anywhere between 5 to 7 people every month that have only cooked 5 competitions or less.
Yeah.
And they're just getting hammered, and they say, "Go take a class." They don't know anything. They're a backyard cook. They think they know what to do, and they get out there and they get smashed. They enjoy it, but they're tired of losing the money. And then, you know, I've got a lot of people, you know, and they'll go in and they'll just say, hey, you know, go take a class. For the cost of one competition, you can go take a class, and I promise you're going to get your money back after the first couple competitions.
For sure.
So I just literally try to go in and make sure that they understand the importance. I'll point it out. Look at this. Look at this. Why do you do that? So I'm literally digging that information out of them, out of each one of the cooks, so we can get all that information, because sometimes the more I keep talking to them, I'm pulling information out of them, you know, and that's the whole thing. I want to get everything from them. And, you know, all of a sudden, hey, I didn't know that. You know, I thought I knew what he was doing there, but now the way he showed that and explained it, now I understand it. So I've had people tell me, though, like I had one guy, he said, man, I watched Corey Mike's brisket class 5 times. Every single time I watched it, I learned something different. And I was like, there's no way. And I learned something else. And I watched it again, and I saw another thing. And he said, you would think I would have picked that up the first time. And this was Rick Manzi, the guy up in New Jersey. I think he's in New Jersey. And he's the one that called me and told me that. And he was like, I can't believe it. Like, how did I not see this the 4 other times? And so that's what you miss in an in-person class. And, you know, you bring up, you know, 2 things you bring up. Okay, you know, I can't feel it. Well, that's a big part of it. You can't. But if you ever notice the way I do those classes, I always grab the Thermopin from them, and I show them what that is like. I don't grab the I wish I had a temp gauge. I don't grab the temp gauge like this, because you can't tell what I'm doing with that. If you ever watch, I hold it like this.
Pinky's out.
Pinky's up. And I go, okay, guys, watch this. And I just go in and I'll say, now watch the meat when I pull it up and it comes out. There's no, it's got just, and I'm trying to describe it. It's like sticking warm butter. It goes in real easy. And I wait and I'm coming out and it's got just like the ever so slight tug for KCBS. If you're in Texas, it just needs to go in and come out about as easy. And I'm showing that and I'm giving them a temperature. So if I'm telling you, hey, you cook this at 300 degrees, this brisket's going to be done pretty dadgum close to this. And I promise you, with me showing what I do, you'll be within 10 minutes to 15 minutes of where that brisket is if you cook it. And usually 10 to 15 minutes is going to get you in the ballpark. You don't have too many briskets going to get you too far. So that's the one thing I really, really emphasize on it. So I tell people the next thing is, well, and you're saying, okay, I don't get to do that. I can't feel it on your online stuff, but I feel like I try to show that in such a way you pretty much will see what it should look like. The next thing is the taste. I can't taste it. Well, I look at it like this. If you can't duplicate that recipe, that injection, how much they put in, how much rub they put on it to perfect, it's never going to taste like what it was there when you tasted it. Was it 2 layers of this or was it 1 layer of this? Was it 20 squirts of injection in that brisket or was it 12 injections of squirt in that brisket? I mean, how many cc's did he put in it? How much rub actually went on it? Because if you can't ever get that part of it right, it's never going to taste in the end the same as it did. So, and the good thing with what we're doing, here's the rub. Watch this. One pass. And you get done with it and he zooms in on that, you can see exactly how much rub is on it. Yeah. And, when we're shooting the injection in, okay, how many pumps was that? I'm trying to count along. Sometimes I miss. I don't know, guys. I think we're on squirt number 12 of a 50cc tube. Go back and check it, and you can. So when you get done, I really think that you've got somebody that they can replicate that recipe to where it's going to be 98% of what they cooked as far as the flavor. And the last little bit on that texture, I think you're going to be so close to it. I don't think you're going to be off very far. And man, that's why we got so many people that have been successful. I've literally lost count of how many. I stopped counting. I mean, I know we've got well over 1,500 top 10 finishes from our barbecue cooks. 1,500 different people have had top 10 finishes. A lot of them have multiple. If they get a top 10, I kind of wrote it down. Then it was so many. It was hard to keep up with everybody. If I didn't see, that's just the ones that I've seen on Facebook.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, multiple grand and reserve grand champions. Gosh, I quit counting after 250 grand and reserve grand champions. I've had people that's got world champions. There's 3 guys that I know have taken classes that have actually won world championships. I've got 2 state cookers who were students who came back and taught classes for us.
That's awesome.
Steve Conway and Raymond Patterson. And Raymond Patterson's taken 3 or 4 classes. Man, he's been in the top 2 in SCA cook-off for like 3 years in a row. He's been like number 2 in the points. And so it's pretty cool to have the student to come back as the teacher. And to me, that's just great to see. I mean, we've had SCA success with the state cookers. Every year we see who walks the stage at the world finals. I think last year there was 4 teams that walked the top 10 that had taken class. The year before that, I think there was 6 teams out of the top 10 that had taken classes on Barbecue Champs. So it's really a unique platform. And then the cool thing is you get the private Facebook page. If you buy the all access class, you get the private Facebook page where you can go in. If there's something that I missed, if there's something you don't quite understand, you can post it in that forum, and then the pitmaster is going to answer the question for you. So,
absolutely. And anyway, sometimes they'll come back and even update their classes. They do it their recipe. They'll come back and re-update. I heard a buddy of mine said that he took
Lee Hickle did it.
I think Lude and Booty.
Lee did it. Lee Hickle did it. Robbie Royal did it. And That was it. Lee and Robbie did
Maybe
it.
Robbie. I think it was
Yeah.
Robbie. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was the
Lee,
Georgia.
Lee
Yeah,
and
he was,
Ro-
he was the
yeah,
Georgia
yeah,
buddy of mine.
Lee and Robbie did. But it's
Yeah.
just so hard because after so long, they've done changed up too much stuff.
Sure.
So
I mean,
now we're just literally like, we're done with that class. Time to shoot a new one. Let's see
Yeah.
all your new techniques. Let's see all your new recipes. Let's see what you're doing now. Because I promise you, they're still doing things that are different. You know, even
yeah.
with
I mean, barbecue's it's
always
it's a fluid,
evolving.
It's a fluid sport. I mean, and it goes in waves.
Yeah.
Like I said, what works 5 years ago doesn't work today, and it's constantly fluid.
Yep.
That leads me to my next question for you.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking at who you have, because I mean, it's probably just as important as your production and stuff is who you have on there. Because I mean, if you had Joe Smo, if you had me on there and nobody's buying classes, but if you got you got the heavy hitters like you do, like, and do you focus? So you're a CBA guy. You're in Louisiana, so you do primarily CBA. Do you do?
I do.
KCBS?
I mainly do Outlaw Barbecue. I do BCA in Louisiana. I do some CBAs that are close up here in East Texas or in East Texas. So I've done a couple CBAs. I do all the BCAs in Louisiana that I can get to. And then I do Outlaw Barbecue, which is like the old school IBCA. So they kind of spun off from that. So
I got you. Yeah, that style. Do you focus on like kind of because I mean a lot of your guys like I've noticed I today before the show I was looking through kind of the pit matches you have, and you have a lot of Texas and kind of the IBCA kind of influence in there. You do have KCBS. You have Smoking Hogs Barbecue. You got Luke Darnell.
Yep.
And a lot of guys like Bill Purvis and Robbie Royal. They do KCBS. So did you try like in your head? You're like, all right, I've done a couple of Texas guys. I need to throw in a KCBS guy in there as well in different regions.
I try to look for regions. So I know I've got a lot of Texas guys, but man, guess what? There's a lot of badass guys in Texas. Robert Smith, he's
a killer, man.
Fred Robles, Bill Purvis. I mean, Corey Mikes. All of those guys in Texas. They're amazing, and Corey did KCBS. Bill Purvis did we'll box the food. Hey, here's how we're going to box it for KC. We'll box it like it's KCBS, and they'll just say, I'm going to cook it the same way for CBA, so just leave the garnish out. So we kind of cross the classes to where it'll work with both. Then I got Mark Lambert, there's my central, I've got Robbie Roy. He's on the East Coast. Then I got Luke Darnell. I got Bill Gillespie. So that's further up on the East Coast. I've got Luton Booty Barbecue, so he kind of covers my my western state out toward Arizona. So, I try to hit different regions. I got David Bosca in Oklahoma. So, I try to get people kind of around, that are really good cooks is what I'm really looking for. I mean,
sure.
And that's what you're trying to do. I mean, the KCBS guys are really good. I've got another KCBS guy I've talked to. A lot of I look for influencers. How much social media presence do they have? I need their help to promote their class as well, even though I've got a massive platform on Barbecue Champs. But it helps if they're constantly posting about their class. We're going to sell more. And, Purvis sells classes like crazy. Well, look what he does. He's posting all the time. So, I keep telling these guys, y'all still building up that profile, the content, you're going to start seeing your classes sales go up. So anyway, but yeah, we're always looking for, I try to get world champions if possible. I mean, I think everybody we've got now is a world champion. So, Aaron Leslie, I can't remember if Aaron's won one. He's gotten close to one or
He's
something.
got one of the rodeos, hasn't he?
I think so. So
yeah.
Anyway, he won the first place brisket, I think, at the rodeo at San Antonio.
Yeah.
So, Purvis has got a couple under his belt. Hickle won the World Food Championship, in the live fire cooking. So, I mean, there's some pretty good accomplished cooks that's on here. Yeah. And
do you ever get any pushbacks like you said? I'm sure you have a roster in your head of like potential candidates to reach out for. Do you ever reach out to some people like, I'm not really willing to put my recipe like kind of like you were with the drag racing? Do you ever get any pushback on those?
I've got a couple people that just said, man, it's just not time. I really don't want to do it right now. I was like, okay, I understand. Hey, the door's always open. We're trying to make barbecue grow. you know, and if you want to be part of that, man, great. I'm just telling you, I got a platform. I got a lot of customers that have bought classes. So it gives me a chance. I can market this thing to thousands of people. I mean, and it's not only that, but I'll tell them, I mean, we've got a world champion that's in some country. I don't even know where it is. Somewhere, I think it's somewhere outside of Italy. We sell classes in Italy. We sell classes in Canada. We sell classes in New Zealand. We sell classes in Australia. We've sold them in Saudi Arabia. We have sold classes in some countries. I don't even know where the hell they are. Like, where is this? I'm over here looking like, I've never even heard of this country. They bought classes on Barbecue Champs. So, I mean, it is a worldwide company. I mean, it is crazy how far across the pond that we have reached. And a lot of them, we were selling classes in Italy like crazy over there. This year alone, we've probably sold 20 classes in Italy, which doesn't sound like a lot. That's a lot in Italy because there's just not a ton of cookers over there, right?
Yeah,
sure. And one guy, he was already a world champion. He won the world championship over there. So, yeah, it's crazy.
American barbecue spreads far and wide. I mean,
it does.
It's a huge. It's funny. Where I live, there's a lot of international people that come visit and stuff like that. And I always talk to them. I'll talk to them about different stuff, and they always talk about the food. And the first thing they always say, "I love American barbecue. American barbecue is so good." Especially the people from England, they're like, "What is this?" I'm like, "That's called flavor. It's something you don't
something you don't know about.
You don't know about that. That's called flavor. That's what we have here. We have sunshine and flavor here in America. So that's why
that's it.
That's a red, white, and blue, baby."
Yeah, but I've reached out to a couple people, and they just said, "Man, not right now." And I was like, I'll reach out to them later. I said, "I'll check you later then, and see." And, I mean, some people may not want to do it. If they want to do it, I'll tell them, "Look, I've got a platform. Would love to have you. We're just trying to make barbecue grow." And man, I think we have definitely changed the landscape in barbecue. There's no doubt. There's just thousands of people out there that have taken classes that have done incredibly well. And that was the whole goal behind this, was to literally try to help the sport of barbecue grow. And I think we're there. I mean,
you are definitely
it's growing. I mean, barbecue competitions have been more fierce than ever in the last, I'd say, 4 years. Yeah. And Barbecue Champs started in 2019. So we're 6 years into this.
Yeah, I mean, AJ, look at the scores that we've seen, and I'm sure, Mike, you've seen whenever you go to cook. I mean, now, honestly, if you're not getting a 180 or a 178, I mean, you don't really have a shot.
Yeah, you ain't got a chance.
You ain't got a chance of winning. I mean, you can still get like a 177, 176, and still get top 10. But I mean, if you're gonna win it, you got to get a 180. Pretty much across the board. Yeah. So you doing this, so for me, like, selfishly, I'm like, man, you get to like watch all these people behind the scenes, and have you like tasted, because you get to taste all this food and stuff. I see you do the bite and with purpose. Like, has that kind of helped you, kind of your mindset? Because I know you like to do your own thing and all that, but I mean, you can't help being a competitive guy like that. You see that, and you get to taste what these guys are cooking and kind of the flavor profile they're going. Is that kind of like, what has that done for you as far as your barbecue career, your personally? Is that kind of helped you kind of see, okay, this is kind of the ballpark that I need to be in, or this is what's hitting right now?
That's a good question, because that gets brought up a lot. People always are giving me a hard time. Well, you got all these dang recipes and blah, 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 and you ought to be winning all of them. Well, here's the truth. Once this class is filmed and it's done, and I do all the edit, I don't edit. My film crew, they edit it. They send everything to me. I'll watch it and put all the pop-ups in it, and I'm just running through, basically. I'm really not watching a whole lot. I mean, I'm watching it, but some sections that we're not talking about, I'll just kind of fast forward to get to the pop-ups and stuff. Yeah. After that, I never watch them again. I never see what I don't know. What's his recipe? Couldn't tell you. What's this guy's? Don't know. I taste the food, and I try to, I just, number one, I've always told people this. I never started Barbecue Champs Academy where I could get everybody's recipe and use it against people.
Sure.
To me, I just can't personally do that. Mm-hmm. Number two is, I was very, very successful before Barbecue Champs Academy. Mm-hmm. And to me, if I start changing what works for me, then I feel like I'm going to start chasing rabbits and start doing things that I shouldn't be doing that takes me off of what has got me there. Run the race that got you there is what I always say with a car. Run what got me there. I mean, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to do my stuff. I'm still cooking that same brisket that I'll kick butt with in 2018. Yeah. I'm 100% still running that same exact recipe from 2018. Yeah. It's little tweaks. Is it a little bit more saltier? Is it a little bit more savory? Is it a little bit more this? It is just the minor little tweaks. And that's what I tell people all the time. They get so far out that they start changing everything.
Major things.
They get themselves in trouble. And I tell people all the time, you better be careful with that. Yeah. So I go in, and if I change anything on my brisket, it is a tweak. It's the same rubs, but is it one more pass of this or one less pass of this? Because I know I'm very good on flavor profiles. Like if my brisket all of a sudden is in top 3 and then all of a sudden it drops. Okay, I know there's one of two things that happen, because it's not like that flavor profile that's been doing good for so long just fell off. There's no way. So did they want it more sweet or do they want it more savory? And so I'll throw this out there because this done completely went away. In 2023, my brisket had been crushing it. In 22, then in 23, all of a sudden my brisket was like bottom part of the top 10. I was like 8th, 10th, 5th, 7th. I was like, It's like, okay, so what has changed? I knew my salt level. I knew where it was. And I was like, I'm wondering if they're wanting a little bit of sweet. So I had never, ever put barbecue sauce in my au jus. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put some barbecue sauce in my au jus. So I added some barbecue sauce to my au jus. So I put it in it. I basted it across my slice. First place brisket. Like, I'll be dang. Go to the next competition, second place brisket. Go to the next competition, first place brisket. Next competition, third place brisket. And it ran like that for the whole year, just absolutely killing it. Well, rolled off into the next year, did good for the first comp. Second comp, it dropped a little. Third comp, it was not doing good. So I was like, okay, it's time to take this away. So I took it out and went right back up to the top again. So the brisket profile changed to sweet. And when it changed to sweet, you either have to know it's either going to be a saltier or it's going to be a sweeter profile, or it's going to be somewhere in between where they want it maybe a little blander. So you have to figure that out. That 2018 brisket that I just crushed it with in 2018, it kicked absolute butt all of 2019. I think almost every one of my competitions, I was in the top 5, and most of them was in the top 3. I got to the end of the year, and all of a sudden my brisket went from that to 10th to no final table to 8th. 3 competitions in a row. And I was like, okay, where do I want to make a change at? Well, I was like, you know what? I'm going to say is, and I had a pretty salty brisket. I mean, I had a salty brisket, and it was killing it. So I went in and I said, I'm going to make a guess that my brisket is too salty. So I'm going to take half of my rub off of my brisket. I took half my rub off the brisket, took off, went to Denton, Texas, 63 teams at a competition, stacked field. When you got 63 teams in Texas, Joey Smith was there and a whole bunch of others. Never had cooked there before. Second place brisket. And I was like, bam. So me trying to go and run everybody's stuff, no, it ain't going to happen. I would never use anybody's stuff because I know what I've got and I know how I can tweak it to get it to where I want. So I will not run anybody's recipe. And I invite anybody, and I'll tell people all the time, you think I'm running somebody's recipe? I tell you what, you give me $10,000, you come in here, if you tell me what class that you've taken, or I'll let you see any class that we've got, and if you can see me using anything that they do, you get the 10 grand. If not, I get the 10 grand. And I did an in-person class last year. And I had a stacked fill in here, and a lot of people were taking class. And when I got done, I said, did I do anything? And everybody was like, dude, you're so freaking far out there in the left field showing us stuff that we have never in our freaking life have ever even seen, heard of. like I blew their freaking damn minds. I mean, literally, we was on one subject for 2 hours just to get them to grasp what I was doing, because I'm the scientific guy behind everything, and these guys' minds were just like they couldn't grasp it. Like, what do you? Wait a minute, time out. And they kept coming up to me even after, and I went over it again and again. So I try to do my own thing. You know, it was funny. We went to the Jack. We got drawn for the Jack last year. And I was like, okay, I'm going to the Jack. I feel like, and I don't cook KCBS competition. The only time I've ever cooked KCBS competition was at the American Roll. That was it. And I've only been there 4 times. And so I went and I was like, everybody, run what got you there. Run what you got there. And you can go back and look at the podcast that I did prior to the Jack. And I told everybody, I'm running all new recipes. And they're like, what? Aaron Leslie's like, what the hell are you doing? I was like, I'm running all new recipes. Like, why? What are you doing? You cook what got you there, buddy. You're going to get your butt handed to you. And I was like, I think that the food that I cook in Texas is not going to do good in Tennessee. I think it's going to be KCBS. I know it's KCBS judges. I think it's going to have to be toned down a little bit. And I just need to cook some really good, flavorful barbecue. So I'm going to change all my recipes. Well, I've got a very, very good palate. So I went in, I got rubs out. I got 9 million rubs around here. And I started like, okay, what do I want to do? First, let's start with the brisket. I got to tone my brisket down because there's no way I'm going to cook that brisket up there. Ain't going to work. So like, okay, so I made a new injection. I did new rubs. I toned it down. I tasted everything. I didn't even cook a practice. I just said, this is where this is going to need to be. And there's things that I do that I'm not going to share I know what to do with that. Yeah. So I got the brisket down. So then I went in, I said, okay, let's do pork. So my pork and my ribs was the same. I just feel like it's the same. So I toned all the ribs down. I made it a little bit different. And then I had chicken thighs. Like, okay, I got to do a thigh and I got to do a wing. I'd never cooked a wing before in my life. I did a little practice run. I cooked 16 wings here. I was trying to cook them on my rotisserie and then put them on the drum. Got a timeline. So I said, okay, I'm just going to do a simple chicken. So I go to the Jack. I've got everything done. And because I cook on a rotisserie, well, I can't leave probes in it, right? Because this stuff would get tangled up. So I can't leave a probe in it. But I know when my brisket is going to be done. My cooker will cook ribs the same within 5 minutes every single time. My ribs are going to be done every single time. My brisket's going to be done between 12 and 12:30 every single time. It's going to hit that magic number. So I got all my stuff. I got my brisket. It hit my ribs. Man, I actually got smart. I thought I was going to outsmart myself, but I got them little micro pins from ThermalWorks. I was like, man, I could slip that in the rib, and I put a piece of paper towel over the end of it, and I wrapped it up with a piece of tin foil, and I could leave it in the pit. I could go check them. So I knew about 2 hours after 2 hours and 15 minutes once they're wrapped. I said, I'm going to check them like 25 minutes early because they're probably going to be pretty close to where they need to be. My ribs are normally at 212, so I was like, man, 2.9, 210 is probably going to be a pretty good KCBS rib. So, man, I got that thing. I plugged it in. Oh, man, it's 209. Like, God, I grabbed my little pen, and I just had the micro pen there because it was in my stack. I probed it, and I was like, man, those feel really good. I was like, they're done. Pulled them off. Got my ribs, brisket, chicken. Got it all in the box. Turned it all in. I was really happy with everything. The flavor profile was good. Man, they start calling out, chicken, didn't have a call. They called out ribs. They called out brisket, or pork butt. They called out brisket. And I had no top 10 finishes. I was like, crap, oh well. So then they called top 10. Man, I finished 9th overall. Hit the freaking Jack, the only person to have a top 10 finish overall and didn't have a top 10 call. So then I get my score sheets. And I'll tell you the one thing before I go there. I went to cut my ribs. And that rib was the worst rib that I ever cooked in my freaking life. That rib was so freaking tough. And I was like, that rib was 2.9, 210. I rested that rib for 40 minutes. I was like, that rib didn't tighten. I was like, what? I mean, I took a bite of that rib. That rib had great flavor, but it was tough. I mean, it was like, I said, I'm fixing to get murdered. I'm going to freaking get murdered with this rib. So they call it out. I go get my sheet. I had 11th place chicken. First time ever cooking wings. No, I had 11th place pork. I had a 15th place chicken. I had a 18th place brisket. I had a 42nd rib. 38th or 42nd. And I was like, rib deserved it. You know, I mean, it just... But then what pissed me off was I looked on the table with ribs. Well, the second and third place, or I think it was the second and third place rib, came off of my table. That's when I really got mad because I was on the freaking angel table, and all I had to do was have a good rib, right? And I'm just so all the way home, I am just livid. Like, how did this rib get this tight? Like, there's no freaking way. So it just bothered me and bothered me. I couldn't sleep. I was like, man, because I just feel like, let's try this again. I just felt like, I needed 7 points or 8 points. I had 172 score. I think I needed 7 points. I would have grand championed the thing. Man. So you give me a 178, 179, I grand championed it. And the guys that was on that table, they got 179s. And I'm thinking, man, I had a good chance. I mean, I got good scores.
You're on a good table. Yeah.
I was on a great table. I mean, appearance 9s, taste great. And I just couldn't figure it out. So I go to the Royal 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, whatever it was. I go to the Royal. I said, I'm cooking the same exact stuff that I did there. Have the ribs. I had the same little microprobe in it. They hit 209. I was like, great. This time, they were 29, 210. This time, instead of grabbing that little microprobe, I had my regular Thermopin sitting there. And I took that Thermopin and I stuck in there. And it was 209, and that thing felt like I was sticking a freaking football. And I was like, what? And I tried it again, and I was like, you gotta. I sit there and I looked at that. I wanted to take that freaking micro pen, and I wanted to launch that thing. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And I ended up cooking that rib for 20 more minutes. 20 or 25 more minutes, and it was 210 and had the nice tenderness that it needed. Day one at the invitation, 169 teams, I finished 7th with a 179.80, and day 2 I finished 20th with like a 178 or something on day 2 against 469 teams. That same freaking rib. Man. I was like...
All because of that pin?
That Thermopin, and Aaron Leslie said, because that thing is such a micro pin, it had no resistance when I poked it. And I wasn't, it felt good.
Right.
Man, I could tell everybody right now, if you want a pro tip,
you
better use the same thing. And anyway, it's just, so it haunted me for the longest, but I figured it out, because I was just like, there's no way that rib could be that tough. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it was just that I did all new flavor profiles and everybody was laughing at me. But I just said, I think what I cooked here wasn't going to work there. And,
right.
And Aaron was like, dude, I got to give you props, man. He's like, you cooked all new stuff and you did great. He said, you can't beat that. So, but I think a lot of it is flavor profile. I got a chance to go judge a competition this weekend. It's like 35 minutes. That's 45 minutes from the house. I could not get off to go over there. I had too much going on. I didn't find out about it until Wednesday. It just popped up on the Outlaw. So I called Kiki, the head judge, and I said, hey, can I get on the final table brisket and rib? I haven't cooked in a while. Yeah, get your butt over here. So I go over there and I'm tasting through the ribs. I gave 110 and 1 a 9. Now we had 7 judges on the table. And I'm really tasting for flavor, tenderness, and all that stuff. And we don't, in which one score in Outlaw, just like, BCA, it's one score, covers everything. And basically it's going to be tenderness and flavor, right? So I gave 110 and 1 9. And then I got into brisket and I gave 110 and 2 9s, a couple 8s, and a bunch of 7s. And so after it was done, they were adding the score sheet, and I was helping Kiki and stuff. And I was like, I'd be curious to see, just because I gave it a 10, there's 6 or 7 other judges that's on this table. They have to score it high as well, right? So my 110 ain't going to make something win when you got that many. And the scoring is from 2 to 10. So after it was said and done, the brisket, the 10 that I gave was first place. The 2 9s was second and third place. And then on the ribs, the 10 I gave was second, and the 9 I gave was first. So it just showed me that, you know, I tell people all the time, good barbecue usually will stand out. And it was incredibly good barbecue to me for me to score something a 9 and a 10. And it was not only me that thought that, because like I said, it ain't about me, it's about all these other judges. And I wanted to see how that barbecue stacked up against all those other judges. Would they trump what I had? In other words, no, we thought this was better. So I think sometimes, you know, I always tell people good barbecue travels, and just cooking good flavorful barbecue is like the most important thing.
Absolutely. I mean, barbecue, the game, you know, the game we play, it's 70% good barbecue and 30% luck. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you just gotta cook the best you can possibly do, and then just pray to the barbecue gods that, you know, they bless you that day, because we've all been there where we've cooked. And that's always, I feel like it's always a kiss of death.
Yeah.
Whenever, you know what I'm going to say, when you're like, man, this is the best rib I've ever cooked. If you ever say that,
Yeah.
you're not hearing your name. I promise you, you're not getting a call. And or if you have a grease fire, or you drop it on the ground, I guarantee you're getting a top 10. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I mean, the best pork I ever cooked was pulled it out of a trash can because my buddy threw it away in aluminum foil. I mean, it's crazy how that works in barbecue. But Mike, I know we're gonna wrap it up here soon. I know I've held you on here a little bit, but I have a couple of fun questions that I like to ask my guests. And so before I let you go, I gotta hit you with a couple of them. If you're gonna do a meat Rushmore, man, who's gonna be up there for you? And for, you know, Mike Steele, who is on the meat Rushmore? Who has influenced you the most in barbecue?
Influence me, or who do I think would be the cooks that would need to be on a meat Rushmore?
Either one.
The cooks that I think would need to be on a meat Rushmore, number one, Brad Laniger. That dude is the freaking damn goat. I mean, we had him on. I mean,
Tom Brady of barbecue.
Yeah, he is just absolutely freaking killed it. Smokey D's,
Darren Worth.
Darren, I mean, he is up there. He has to be up there on that. Myron Mixon, I got to throw one old school person up there. I think you would have to put him up there as well, because he has done a lot for barbecue as well. I think Brad, I think from what those guys had compared to the competition that they had when Myron and all those guys were cooking in Tuffy, is nothing like what it is now. Not even in the same ballpark. And I think pound for pound, I will go out on a limb and say I think Brad Laniger has got to be the baddest man in barbecue right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't matter where he's cooked in 13, 14 states. He's got grand champions in, gosh, I don't know, 20-something state. It don't matter where he goes.
2 countries.
2 countries. It just doesn't matter. I mean, and he is doing this against the best of the best cooks that have got massive knowledge, a lot because of Barbecue Champs, a lot because of Barbecue League, a lot because of a lot of people has in-person classes, but they didn't have back when Myron and them was coming up. So I'd have to put Tim Shear's another one you would probably have to put up there. He is just a bad pound-for-pound cat as well. He's just not cooking as much lately. So that would probably be who would be up there. People that's influenced me in my barbecue, man, I don't know. I've got a lot of good guys that's come through here. You know, I mean, Mark Lambert is another guy that he's just a good all-around dude. You know, I like to talk barbecue with him. Lee Hickle and I, we are always talking barbecue. Like, you know, I've shared some of the things that I've done, and Lee was like, dude, you are one strange guy. Like, you are like, I don't know how you come up with this crap, but this is some crazy, you literally are going to teach all this in your class? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And he's like, you're going to freaking blow some people's minds. And I was like, that's the whole game plan. So I have bounced some ideas and some things off of Lee. We talk a lot, probably every day, 2 or 3 times a day. So he's been a big influence. And we talk a lot. So, you know, people that I look up to are some of the old school guys. Y'all probably don't know Tony Chandler. That was the first guy that ever came up to me when I went to my first competition. We call him Uncle Tony. I've always looked up to Uncle Tony, and he used to be the baddest son of a gun back in the day. But he's gotten older, and all these classes have come out. He still holds his own. He still gets him some walks every once in a while. So I've always looked up to Uncle Tony because he was just kind of the guy that was there when I first started, and he's still cooking, and I just love him. He's just awesome. So, yeah, it's I've been blessed with a lot of people that I've got to know over the years. David Bosca's a super informative guy. I mean, if you need to know anything about cuts of meat, he's the butcher. And he can certainly give you, and I've called David sometimes, like, hey, David, what about like a meat like this or something like that, just to bounce ideas off of him. So David has got a lot of wealth of knowledge. These guys on Barbecue Champs, they've got a mass wealth of knowledge behind them. Robert Smith, Aaron Leslie. I mean, Aaron Leslie's rib gave me freaking chill bumps. Like on camera, I took a bite of that rib. I looked down and he looked at me like, what, you got goosebumps? I was like, shut up. I was like, the dang rib is freaking good. I mean, Lee Hickle? I've had two people give me goosebumps. Lee Hickle's chicken and Aaron Leslie's damn rib. I mean, I was like, my gosh, that rib was good. And then, the next one we did after that was pork. And Aaron's eating, and he's like, and I saw his eyes light up. And I was like, I looked down and I was like, what the heck, big dude? You got freaking goosebumps? So his deadgum pork gave him goosebumps. I said, don't freaking come at me, buddy. So, but Aaron's a good guy. I love Aaron. Aaron's another guy that I think's been a big mentor. I mean, not so much a mentor, but just a good close friend. Robert Smith. I'm pretty close with all of our guys. I mean, I talk to them quite a bit.
Sure.
So it's just really neat to be able to be with these guys. And my deal is to try to help grow them and get them money coming in for what they do, get them classes sold. I mean, they're world champions. They're elite people, right?
Yeah.
And I just think it's really cool to help those guys grow however I can do it. And if I can do that through Barbecue Champs Academy, man, it wasn't ever about me. And somebody had just posted, I think it was Ray, why did you do an in-person class versus the online class format?
Yeah.
I'll answer.
I was going to ask you that, yeah.
I'll answer that. So Barbecue Champs Academy is never about me. Barbecue Champs Academy would never be where it is without my barbecue pit masters and steak grill masters that we've had on it. Mike is just the guy that gives them the platform to come in. I ask a bunch of questions and we get the videos out there for them. So I would never, ever do a class on Barbecue Champs Academy or for me to go sell classes. That would never happen because it's not about me. And even if I want to, and I always tell them I'm not a world champion. And even if I want a world champion, I still wouldn't do it because I don't want Barbecue Champs Academy to be about me being a guy on there. I want Barbecue Champs Academy to be about, hey, that's Mike Steele, an incredible influencer that has helped grow the sport of barbecue through having world champion barbecue pit masters come in. And that's what I want to be known for. So it's not about me. And I wouldn't have nobody to play my role. So, and if I were up in front of a camera just talking, one person in front of a camera just talking like that is the most boringest stuff there is. Yeah. What makes our classes, because people tell me, you're selling entertainment. My film crew says right off the get-go, you're selling entertainment and incredible knowledge. And you make it so interactive and it makes people want to watch it. If somebody's sitting up there going blah, 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 it just doesn't work as good. Yeah. So, and Cook Shack, let's see, when are you going to teach your own class? I had one last year. Man, I don't even know if I want to do another one. The deadgum people that got out, one of the guys took it from East Texas. Man, he kicked my deadgum butt in brisket 3 competitions in a row. And I mean, I got another guy. I've got one guy's down in South Texas. I mean, they've all immediately started getting grand champions, reserve grand champions, and freaking crushing it. So I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to keep having to do that cooking against all these guys. So, but I may end up doing another one at some point. If I do, I'll let everybody know.
Absolutely. Well, last question, man. Last question. Before I let you go, like I said, we've talked about on this show, you've cooked with some amazing cooks, and every cook you've cooked with has been top shelf, world class, amazing, top of their game. But I want to break it down by protein.
God.
No. I'm not doing flavor. I'm not gonna put you on. I'm not doing the spot like that. But I am going to do appearance because I think you can be judgmental when it comes to appearance.
Yeah.
I want you to break it down by protein. Out of all the cooks you've had on your show, who has had the prettiest chicken, pork, ribs, and brisket?
You want me to remember all that from 6 years ago? Golly. All right.
I got to put you on there.
I would say If you have never seen Robbie Royal's boxes, go look at some of his photos on his Facebook page. Mark Lambert will even tell you Robbie Royal's pork boxes are the absolute prettiest pork boxes you will ever see in this industry.
So Robbie Royal pork. Okay.
Robbie Royal's pork is just absolutely phenomenal.
All right.
I would have to say
I think I know chicken.
Yeah, chicken, Purvis by far.
I mean, shoot.
His chicken is freaking amazing looking.
Is it as pretty in person as it is on the screen?
Oh, yeah. It looks just like that.
It's damn near candy.
Yeah, it looks just like that. As a matter of fact, you showed, they came right off the pit and we held them out in the sun.
Yeah,
you saw it. There was no filter. There was no editing. That was just it. So, his ribs the same way. His ribs were just phenomenal looking. Yeah.
Perfect
just,
pepper ratio on it. It's amazing.
Yeah. And I would have to say brisket. Woo. Let me think back on brisket now. Brisket's pretty tough.
And you got your newest one, Fred Robles. I definitely want to give him a shout out, man. If you guys don't know who this man is, he's been on the pod.
Fred Robles. Fred Robles had some absolutely beautiful ribs that he put in his box. I would say Fred had a gorgeous rib that he turned in. I'm trying to think about Luke Darnell and Bill Gillespie. I'm trying to think, golly, man, you're really pushing me down here now.
I got to throw you one curveball.
Brisket, man. Purvis's brisket, if you go look at the videos that we were just playing, his brisket was absolutely beautiful. Man alive. Sterling, I'll do legs by far, Sterling.
Yeah.
Thighs, Purvis. Pork, Bill, Robbie Royal. Ribs, Robles, Fred Robles ribs were just immaculate looking. Brisket, Purvis, and probably Fred. Fred had a pretty nice looking brisket as well. Yeah, he put burn ends and stuff like that. I will say the presentation on burn ends, Mark Lambert, the way he put those in there, it had a checkered board.
Checkerboard, yeah. Checkerboard before, yes. Yeah. Cool.
So if I had to say burn ends, Mark Lambert had the prettiest burn ends. Flats, I would say Purvis and probably Fred Robles. Or Aaron. Aaron's slices were, God, those guys, man, you're asking me to compare the legends.
I'm not doing my job. I don't put you on the
spot. I can't pick out one in brisket. Fred, Aaron, and Purvis were all phenomenal. Even Roberts. Those guys are amazing brisket cookers. Half chicken. Let me see who cooked half chickens. God,
I'm sure all the Texas guys did.
Yeah, it was all the Texas guys. Purvis has a really pretty chicken. Man, they all had pretty chickens, man. Robert Smith had a gorgeous looking chicken. Fred's chicken was, I don't know. The chickens probably all looked about the same. If you go look at the pictures of them, they were all beautiful chickens.
Are they all tiger striped in Texas? Like, do you have to do tiger stripe, or does it matter?
So that's a great question. So for the last 2 years, I have tiger striped my chickens.
Yeah.
And the last competition I went to, I didn't, and I did good. I had a 6th place. And by going over there and judging, I didn't get to judge chicken at that competition, but I was there when they were just finishing up all the tables. And all the chickens they went through the first round, they was going through the second round, opened up 21 boxes, not a single one of them had tiger stripes.
So tiger stripes gone.
And I was like, I'll be dadgum, none of them had tiger stripes. So no, they don't always have to have tiger stripes. In Louisiana, they do like the tiger stripes a little bit, but I don't know if they're all doing tiger stripes anymore. I just know I'm not. I'm probably going to back off on them.
There you go.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough, dude.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, man. Well, I have one more question for you, man. With a brisket box that you've seen of all the guys you talked to at a competition, CBA and also KCBS and IBCA and Outlaw and all that, burn ins or no burn ins in turn-in box?
For me?
No,
or for the guys.
If you're giving advice to your clientele and to my audience,
I got it. Do not put in burn-ins.
Yeah,
do not. And I will give you and we got another minute. I'll tell you. So Lee Hickle was out on his East Coast tour, running all up and down the East Coast. Yeah, Ray, yeah, Corey Mike stuff. Yeah, he's got a beautiful brisket as well. And Smitty on the wings. You can't touch Smitty's wings. So Lee Hickle was up on the, and he was literally going every weekend, all up on the East Coast, doing competitions. He was just getting murdered. He was doing brisket. He couldn't hitting brisket. He was doing pork. He was getting killed in pork. His ribs were doing pretty good. His chicken was doing pretty good. And we were talking every day. And I just kept telling him, I was like, Lee, are you putting burn-ins in your thing? Yes. Quit putting burn-ins in your freaking box. You don't cook them in Texas. This is because we wasn't cooking burn-ins in Texas. That was for CBA. I said, you don't do them, and that's another protein that they're going to judge you on. Don't put it in the box. You think, man, they're all doing it. I said, I don't care what they're all doing. Don't do it. All right. Goes to the next competition as soon as we have that very good conversation. First place brisket. And then he immediately starts killing brisket and starts climbing to the top. Then he's getting killed in pork. And I told him, I said, look, I'm a guess. You're putting chunks, you're putting money muscles, you're putting bacon in it. Yeah, I'm filling it up. Quit. Put 2 rows of money muscles in it, or 1 beautiful row of money muscle across it. The more food you put in that box, the more they can ding you. You think that bacon's good. They may think that bacon's dry, tough, terrible. I said, I put it like this. The first competition I ever went to, I never had cooked a KCBS competition. I went in 2017. I went to American Royal. Never had ever even cooked a KCBS until there. I had a 7th place pork in the invitation. I finished 19th overall out of 120 teams. I had like a 696 score, and that was in 2017, which is pretty dang high scores. I put money muscles in the box. I went to the Dadgum Jack. I put 2 rows of money muscles in it. I had a 11th place pork. And I told Lee, quit putting all that crap in there. I said, every time I've ever went to a KCBS, that's all I've done, and I've done good in it. He said, okay, I'm just going to do money muscles. I'll be dadgum. He finished his, I think, 5th overall or 6th overall in the team of the year in pork. He finished high in ribs. I think he did pretty good. I think he was in the top 10 in all of them except chicken. I think he was like 12th or 13th in chicken. So the advice I would give to people,
less is more.
Less is more, and put the best food in the box. I want to concentrate on one thing. I've got 3 money muscles, and I'm going to shape them. I'm going to cut them. I'm going to get them to where they need to be, and I'm going to focus on cooking those to perfection, as my little girl Ray would say, and I mean cook it to absolute perfection. That's how she said about her steak class. And that girl's an amazing cook right there. Yeah. Better watch her. She's going somewhere. Awesome. So
good.
Anyway,
that solves my fight, because I had an argument with a couple of guys. They're like, no, I mean, these burn-ins are so good. I'm like, stop. Don't. I mean, burn-ins are amazing, but judges just don't know what they are.
If you're a good burn-in cooker, Fred Robles, Corey Mikes, those guys, they know what they're doing. They know the texture. Not the
rule, though.
Right, but for the average person, or the guy that's just kind of a KCBS, backyard going into it, man, start off with just the flats, and then work your way up. I'm not saying that you're not going to win. I mean, Fred Robles has won with burn-ins. He won burn-in brisket. He won brisket at the American Royal. He's got burn-ins. Corey had burn-ins in it. I'm not saying you're not going to win, but if they're supposed to judge you on the slice, if you got an incredibly good slice, just put the slice in there. If you think your burn-ins, and Fred Robles will tell you when he was here, if it ain't good, don't put it in the box. And it better be perfect. But sometimes perfect to us is not perfect to that KCBS judge when it comes to judging like a burn-in. So I think it's tough. Yeah, in KCBS, though, burn-ins hit. Yeah, they do hit. But, man, you better have a good one. I'm not saying not to put them in, but I'm just saying if you want to up your chances, unless if you're just an incredibly good burn-in, where you can cook really good burn-ins, I would say just be careful, because less is more, and the more you put in that box, you put in tubes, and you put in this, money muscle, you put in bacon, you may have chunk. Man, 3 of them may have been great, but the tubes could have been dry, and you just got murdered.
Yeah.
So I just think sometimes too much, especially in pork. I think you can put too much in pork, and you can do good, but sometimes, man, less is more, and keep you from getting banged up by that one judge that may not have liked something. So I don't want to come across that I know it all about KCBS, but I can just tell you this: I know what I told Lee, and it worked for Lee. And he was cooking against guys that were cooking burn-ins every single weekend. And, man, he finished in the top 10 in the points chase that year on the Team of the Year deal. So I just know what worked for him. So just be careful. If you're a great burn-in cooker, you think they're amazing and they hit, good. Maybe you got that texture right. But if you do it and like, man, I didn't hit crap, I got murdered. Well, maybe it's because you had burn-ins in it. So
right.
Anyway.
Well, fair enough, man. Well, that's our show, man. Thank you so much, Mike, for coming in.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate
hanging out
it.
with us, man. It has been an amazing. I love watching everything you do. He is a great podcast, guys. Check him out, man.
Barbecue Champs Academy. That's where you can find us on our Facebook.
On Mondays or Tuesdays?
We do it tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Central. It's going to be on. We finally got our Facebook page back. It'd been hacked for 45 days.
Hey-o.
So, yay! We're going to be back on our Facebook page tomorrow. So it'll be on streaming on our Facebook. It will be streaming on our YouTube channel as well. We're going to have Phil Breed and LC Barbecue on tomorrow. So that's going to be a big show. Check it out. And and then the website to the Barbecue Champs Academy, our website is bbqchamps.com, bbqchamps.com. The classes, any of the classes you buy, they're all access. They never expire. There's no membership. It's a one-time purchase. You buy them, they're yours. You can watch them as many times as you want. They don't expire. If you buy the all-access class, you get access to a private Facebook page where you can ask questions. So, man,
check it out,
there.
guys. Like my buddy Cook Shack says, hashtag take the class.
That's it.
It is amazing. It can do nothing but improve your game and help you quit wasting money and not getting calls. So, like I said, Mike, we truly appreciate you coming on our show.
Thank you, sir.
Not only that, we appreciate what you do for barbecue and what you do for the sport. So, thank you so much, man. And I appreciate you coming on. See you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. That is our show, AJ. Sitting there looking pretty.
I gotta do my best, man. But that's awesome, man. It's love to hear a story, man, of how I started. And that's definitely some interesting stuff they was talking about.
Oh my God,
he's got everything to the T. I would love to just sit down and chat with him one day and soak up the knowledge.
Absolutely. Well, man, he reminds me a lot of you. You know, you like doing your own thing. Like I said, I literally had to. I gifted AJ a barbecue class because he don't know what the hell he's doing. So. But I mean, like I said, the first time taking the class, I'm sure you picked up a couple of things, sure. and learn. It's always great. Anything you do, it's always great to keep educating yourself, and more knowledge is always better than less. So, but guys, check him out. Check Barbecue Champs Academy out. It's a fantastic place, and like I said, I'm a big fan. I've bought classes on there myself, so I can vouch for it. It's amazing, and I still check it out to this day. So, guys, that's our show. I truly appreciate it. Sorry about last week. Dad Mo kicked in, but the season's wrapping up, so I won't be missing anymore. And I truly appreciate you guys hanging out with us. If you like the content tonight, make sure you give us a follow, like, share, subscribe. If we don't know you like us unless you follow us. We're pretty shy like that. We got let you tell us that you like us in order for us to know this. So feel your love. But man, it's a great show. I love talking to him. He was one of the guys I was excited to have on the show. And as always, like I said, when it comes to barbecue, make sure you're always right on cue. See you guys.